Hey everybody, back from Australia here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A little quick video here I thought I'd put out on the old YouTube. Just kind of follow my trip down through the South Pacific and into Brisbane, Australia. Spent about 10 days there, and I just got some videos here and there documented koalas and kangaroos and all the fun stuff. I thought maybe it'd be cool to put a little video together. You guys can fast forward through this part, or you can just go to the good stuff. Either way, trying to get back on East Coast time is proving to be kind of a chore. Going right back to work right after you come back from a trip like that, and then trying to reacclimate after jet lag. It's not fun, but pushing through, pushing through. So anyhow, come with me, head to Australia. Here's a little preachy tip for you. If you want to go do something like that, go do it. Spent a lot of time thinking about it. It was on a bucket list for me. And I thought after about 25 years of kicking that idea around, it would be a pretty good idea to go do it and get it out of the way. So that's exactly what I did. The time's never going to get good, you know. I'm going to do it when I get more money. I'm going to do it when the kids go off to school. I'm going to do it when when you retire, or, all these reasons why you can do it later. Later comes and you won't do it. So if you got a bucket list thing, you want to take that cruise, take the wife to Hawaii, go to Australia, go whatever it may be, go do it. Go do it. Just go do it. You're going to wake up, be 80 years old, and have this list of things that you wished you did and you didn't do it. And then you look back and say, wow, man, all the things I could have done. Man, what would it have been like to go to Australia or go to Fiji or go to Europe and see where my ancestors came from? And you look back and you say, that would have been a good trip, or that would have been this, or that would have been that. Just do it. Just do it. Just go. That's kind of how I looked at it. The air miles accumulated to the point where I thought I can make it. No, that's not a problem. And then you just find a way to make it happen. 17 hours on a flight to Australia was not fun. And 17 hours back, it's roughly about a 20,000 mile round trip. But again, you're in one of these situations where you got to do it. You just go. Just go. You'll be all right. In the end, you'll recover. So anyhow, let's go. Let's head off to Australia. And again, thanks for watching. If you enjoy it, feel free to like it. If not, don't. It really doesn't matter. I'm not monetized or anything, so feel free to just go ahead and enjoy it, or leave a comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. All right, that's about it. Let's roll.
So this is probably the longest flight I had ever been on. Heading all the way across the Pacific. 17 hours was crazy, but not quite as crazy as the yoga master that you're going to see here in a second. This guy showed up and started blocking bathroom doors so that he could stand up and pose and do all kinds of weird Tai Chi yoga poses and just blocking bathrooms. And it got to the point where the flight attendants actually made the guy go sit down. Here we go. There he is. Oh, he's finding his center and he's trying to reach for the sun. Oh, the sun. After you've been on the flight for, I don't know, I think this is like the 11th or 12th hour going into the final 5 hours. Guys that show up start doing stuff like this makes you wonder, like, what's going on? Like, really? I was happy to be off the plane after all this. And showed up in Australia. It was about 6:30 in the morning. It was just nice to be off that airplane. It's just amazing how far those things can fly. Now, once I got to Australia, it was nice. It was 85, 86. And kind of steamy and humid, which, having come from a area that just got done being snowed on, I was pretty happy to be there. I had no issues with that kind of weather. I was actually very happy that that it was like that. But showed up in Brisbane, and it was nice. I would think that it looked very similar to North America. Um, just the weather was a lot better, but I had to film everything because I was thinking something was going to pop up that I was going to miss. But yeah, it was just crazy that they have industrial parks and the airport kind of industrial zones that we have everywhere else. They've got them down there. But the further into Brisbane we got, the more I realized I'm not in Indiana anymore. This is quite the quite the city, and I was in the train travel as well. We don't have, you guys are obviously probably a lot of you are watching from North America. We don't have the train network that they have in other countries, and just being able to hop on a train and I don't know traverse hundreds of miles and have it not be any big deal. It was quite convenient, and I kind of wish North America had that. But I was just happy to be off that airplane. To be honest with you, I was just 17 hours on an airplane. What's another hour on a bullet train? And most of this footage was all shot at about 7, 8 in the morning. So daylight, fresh air, bring on the train, man. I was okay with it. And just the fact that everything was green and lush and it wasn't gray and snow covered, I was in my element. So I was really happy to happy to be in Brisbane. I guess based on what I've seen, I think the year 2032 Brisbane will get to have its summer games. So they'll have the Olympics here after LA gets done with theirs. So that's kind of cool. Finally made it to a place called Surfers Paradise. And that's not like a nickname. That's the actual name of the city or of the beach. It's Surfers Paradise. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I got there and I couldn't check in. They didn't check in till like 3, and I got there at like 9:30 in the morning. So this footage is basically me out walking around like a zombie on 0 hours of sleep, jet lag to the 10th degree. Could not get checked into the hotel. I don't know if any of you guys have been sleep deprived, but even while I was filming this, the pounding headache, I was tired. I just needed a nap and a shower. And I thought, I'm going to go to the beach. And just as I'm walking around, I'm just seeing it. I'm in a different world, man. I think this bird here was the first thing that reminded me that I'm not in Indiana anymore. Just everything down there in Australia is built different. I mean, this thing had giant hooked bill. He's pulling grubs out of the. This is just on the street, man. This is just like right on the street. I'm not at a zoo or anything. And the bird's big. It was crazy.
Room tour time. Now, full disclosure, I already shot one of these, but I have to redo it because, well, I'll tell you in a second. Anyways, I'm here in Australia at the Australia's Gold Coast. We'll call it Surfers Paradise because that's what it's called. But I'm at the Hilton on the 14th floor, and what kind of vacation would it be if you didn't do a room tour, right? So I'll just kind of walk you through here. Now, part of the reason why I have to redo this is because it turns out I was just really impressed with this room. And you got your coffee maker, your coffee, your complimentary waters, wines. Hey, they left me a bottle of wine, like complimentary. Very nice, very nice. But the reason I have to redo this, it's a nice, spacious room, and it's laid out perfect. I mean, I can't complain. You got the headrest with the lit back headrest. So at night you can turn that on. I don't know if that's for like setting the mood or whatever. But basically all the normal comfort things that you'd have in a hotel room. A little area for you to do your editing or hotel work with your computer. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice area, but I was really excited about the bathroom, right? So as I'm walking along here, again, 13th floor, 14th floor, this is kind of looking through the drapes. Not a bad view from up here. Again, this is the surfer's paradise on Queensland's Gold Coast of Australia. But the bathroom was like, dude, this bathroom is huge, right? Looking around here and I'm thinking, man, this is almost as big as the rest of the actual hotel or hotel room. You got your toilet back here. Well, after a little research, they left it down, that's cute. Anyways, after a little bit of research, come to find out, this must be the room of a disability room, like somebody that's handicapped, because everything is low, like not low, but like, you know, waist high. And it didn't dawn on me until somebody told me you're probably in a handicap room. So I'm walking around here, I'm like, man, this shower is huge. Check out the massive shower. You can, all kinds of room for activities and moving around. And then I kind of realized that that's the exact width of a wheelchair. and I'm like, why is the controller way back here for that shower way over there? Yeah, but I don't care because I didn't ask for it. They gave it to me, so there's no moral, you know, issue with having to be in a handicapped room. I'm not taking it away from anybody, but I think if I had the option from here on out, I think I'll ask for a handicapped room and just be thankful that I'm not handicapped. All right, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of do a walkthrough. Had to reshoot it because the first video I was all excited. Oh man, check out how big my bathroom is. Well, yeah, it needs to be big for somebody with a wheelchair, which is not me. But it looks like the rain's coming in. Not excited about that. Oh, and I noticed, you know, you kids should always stay prepared. Go down and visit the Condom Kingdom. I kid you not. They have a little bit of everything on this little strip back here behind the hotel. It's too far for me to read with the naked eye, but love, lust, and laughter. Gifts with a twist. Well, that's interesting. Might have to go down there and see what they got. Kind of know, but anyhow, that's about it. That'll be the end of the room tour. But I thought I should go back through and do it again because, yeah, the first time around I was like, man, this place is huge. Look at all the area, and it's like almost the size of the actual hotel room. And yeah, no, it's for somebody with a wheelchair. But I'll take it, I don't care. All right, that's it. Everybody back home. Hope you're staying warm. We'll catch you later. All right, so back out on the beach. Now, when I first got there, they were having some stormy weather. I say stormy, it wasn't like thunderstorm and ruin your day, but it was gray skies, big waves. They had a typhoon, I guess is their version of a hurricane, that had skirted by the Gold Coast probably a day or so before that. So everything was all chopped up and churned up. It wasn't super warm. It was probably in the upper 70s, which, you know, even coming from Indiana where it was 25 degrees in snow, I was happy to have mid 70s, but it wasn't exactly super tropical beach weather. But that changed over time. But for a little while, it was like, this isn't the most ideal weather. It's super windy, like non-stop windy. And that it went on for a couple days. I started to think, oh man, this whole vacation is going to tank. It's not going to be what I had envisioned. But the weather, like anywhere else, changes. It changes quickly. But the weather was churned up. The ocean was angry. The seas were angry, my friend. And the lifeguards were out just to let you know, don't be out screwing around in the water. They've got really nasty. I did get in the water, not on this particular day, but later when the sun came out and it got a little bit nicer. Those waves and that water, those are different animals than what we have in North America. They've got something that we don't really experience called a rip current or a rip tide.
it will suck your feet out from underneath you and then punch you in the face with the wave and drag you out, which has happened. I watched several people get rescued. There's even a video in here somewhere, you'll see it later on, where a couple of kids get sucked out to sea and the guys have to go out on their surfboards and try to rescue them. It's crazy. It's a different animal. If you're not a strong swimmer and you're not ready for that, it's sketchy. So this is the Surfers Paradise Boardwalk, or I don't know what they call that. It's like a plaza. They've got street performers and they've got all kinds of stuff going on here. I'll tell you what, man, it felt very like Miami Beach-ish, like I was back in America, but I'll just leave you with some of the performances here.
In one arm. Come on, people. Oh. Okay. Oh, now I am dizzy. Okay, I'm a little dizzy, but I'm having fun. Are y'all having fun? Okay. I want to take this show to the next.
So the next day, I had decided that I wanted to go and see wildlife. So I hopped on the train. Everything there is very nice as far as trams and buses. It's so easy. I tell you what, it's the most efficient as far as price goes. I spent 50 cents a day to go anywhere I wanted on the Gold Coast. That's unlimited transfers wherever. 50 cents. Not even 50 cents. It's Australian, so it's like 37 cents American. It was just great being able to hop on a tram or a train and just take off and go right outside my hotel. It was beautiful. But anyhow, so I decided I was going to go to the Currumbin Animal Sanctuary, which is further down the coast towards New South Wales, right down near Burleigh Head Point. It was about 45 minutes from where I was staying. And I got there, this is what awaited me. Those are lorikeets. They're common down there. It's like for here in North America, that's their version of like robins and blue jays and things like that. They just live there. They're in the trees. They're parrots. They're the parrot family. They squawk. And apparently they will talk. If you own one as a pet, they will talk. But they're just everywhere. And fun fact: they don't eat grain or berries or things like. Well, I guess some berries, but they eat nectar. So they live off of fruit. They live off of nectar, flowers, things like that. So if you ever thought that you wanted a lorikeet at home, you better have a lot of fruit. Otherwise, you're not going to have much luck with them. There's something that you don't find in Indiana as well. Koala bear down there, they're everywhere. Now, it's kind of like a raccoon or a possum. You don't see them all the time, but when you do see them, they're just kind of hanging out. And that's what they do. Now, I was at an animal sanctuary, similar to a zoo, except in a zoo, they create habitats for animals. Here, they basically just put a fence around a block of land, and the habitat is the area that resides in. So they don't build anything out. They basically just encapsulate what's already there. So they had tree frogs, and they had lizards, and they had alligators and pelicans and koala bears. It was just, this is what it looks like down there. If you don't disturb the forest and tear it all down, that is what the countryside would look like. It was just quite impressive. I was happy that I went. It is some of the things that you can see down there that let you know that you're not in Indiana. I say that a lot. It's like the seventh time I've said that. You're not in Indiana. You're not even not North America anymore. And it kind of reminded me of when you go to the zoo and they curate the the fauna and the trees to look like Australia. Well, that's just what's down there. That is the landscape. So, really cool place to go visit. And you hear the birds and the different animals in the trees, and it's just it's very cool. I enjoyed my trip there to the animal sanctuary. They don't necessarily, it doesn't feel like a zoo. It just feels like they kind of just captured an area and then preserved it so that you can see what the place would look like if you went back in time 100 years before there was anybody there. And the animals come and go, or at least the birds do. They're not captive, so they can fly in and fly out. This little beach is kind of cool. They had all these white pelicans, which I guess we have them here in northern Ohio and northern Indiana now. They're starting to arrive here, but down there they're native and they stay there. What we don't have are eels. Those are eels in the water. Uh, I wasn't aware that there's a such thing as a freshwater eel, but there is, and they're angry, and so they put on a show by putting a piece of chicken on a string. He throws it into the water, and they pretty much devour it. Now, I don't know if they're electric. I don't think they're electric eels, but the birds don't seem to be bothered by it. There's another one of them hook-billed birds that I saw outside my hotel. They're just, like I said, everything down there in Australia is built different. It looks different. I don't know if it's the environment or evolution, but everything down there is built to kill things or to survive. Their climate, unlike ours, stays warm and tropical for the most part, and everything down there is kind of built to live in that, and it's kind of crazy. But this is interesting. More koala bears. Now these are a little bit different. This is a family of koala bears. If you can see, that's the dad up on top, and the mama koala bear is sitting there, and she's got a baby. If you look really close and to the left, you'll see his little head sticking out. So she's holding the baby, and dad's kind of off to the side scratching himself, and there was nobody around. I didn't have any of the details on how old he was or any of that, but yeah, there's this little baby koala bear hanging out with mom, and they stay together as a family unit, which is kind of neat. Now, that particular wildlife sanctuary deals with rescues. So I saw a sign that said they take up to 400 koala bears that get injured a year. They have problems with koalas wandering out in the street and getting hit by cars. They don't move very fast, and people don't look for them, and a lot of them die. But the ones that get hit or get injured, that is one of the number one sanctuaries for rehabilitation in Queensland, Australia, which is one of their biggest zones for where they live. So I just thought it was really kind of cool that those animals are all there because they're, either were sick or fostered or whatever. So it means they're kind of coming back and they take care of them. And this is a bird show. I only got a few seconds of video because everything here happens fast. But they had vultures and eagles and all kinds of crazy birds that, some of the stuff looked like stuff we had here. But when they send them out across the top of your head, it's kind of crazy. They teach birds to, the parrot throws trash away. Here's something that I really kind of caught me off guard, but I guess it makes sense. Everybody in Australia, from the government to the citizens, are big on environment. They want the environment to not in a hippie tree hugger way, but in a, hey, little things can make your environment cleaner, and we can preserve our land. To the point where they have like paper straws and stuff. It's a little over the top, but I get why they do it. Right there is a Tasmanian devil, which those are extremely endangered. I guess they have a lot of disease that they're having issues with. And fun fact, Fort Wayne Zoo has a couple of them that they're preserving to kind of keep as mated pairs. So if they die off in Tasmania, they still have some genetically clean ones later that they can breed back into the system. And then you got your kangaroos. And then in here, you can walk amongst them, pet them, whatever you want to do. They don't seem to be bothered by people. They're free range, free roaming. But They let people feed them. So as you can figure, the kangaroos don't really mind people because usually people come with a fistful of food. It kind of looks like rabbit food that's in pellet form. But they're just hanging out. And I've heard they can get nasty and mean. These were very nice. I was very impressed. So took the trip back. The landscape just looks different. I'm not used to seeing this. It was just beautiful. The beaches. Everybody loves to be outdoors. It was crazy. It was so beautiful. I would go back in a heartbeat. Made it back to the hotel. Nighttime. Like I said, Surfer's Paradise seemed very much like Miami. It is big, super tall, high-rise buildings, um, beaches, beautiful beaches. Everybody seems to be outdoors enjoying themselves. I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about this area when I booked it. I mean, from whatever I could see on the internet, but I'm really glad that I had chose this area. It suited what I wanted to do, and with the water and the beaches, the sand is, again, they're big on environment. They're big on cleanliness. So I didn't feel like I ever saw garbage floating around. Um, they don't mess around when it comes to environment. That water was absolutely crystal clear. Um, they don't mess with their they don't mess with their environment at all. As you can see, the water's crystal clear. The beaches are beautiful. There's no garbage floating, and they stay on top of that. And they kind of reiterate that to tourists that don't trash our oceans, don't trash our beach. And at night, a guy goes along with a big John Deere tractor and he rakes all the garbage up. And, because people do leave like cigarette butts and stuff laying in the sand. It's as if they're competing for the world's cleanest beach all the time. They're big on that. Even the lifeguards will go around and make sure you don't leave your trash or your junk laying around. So I don't know if it's an Australian cultural thing, but I just loved that area. The water was crystal clear. Now I've been to the Caribbean and I've been to Hawaii, and those waters are nice, right? This water was just different. I don't know. It was upper 70s, almost 80 degrees, but just crystal clear. I know it never felt like I was ever, in cold water or water was filthy or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. You got to go to the South Pacific and stick your feet in the water to know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's a neat place. It's a unique place, and if anybody gets a chance to go, I recommend it. It's something. But just like anything else, the waters can get angry and get churned up. And so, I don't know. This is early on in my trip. They had some choppy water, so I just kind of stood on the pier there and watched the lifeguards do their thing. And there's something about these lifeguards. They're not your typical lifeguards. I think you say lifeguards, you think, oh, the teenager down at the swimming pool that jumps in and fishes out the kid that goes into the deep end and starts to struggle. No, these are your like Baywatch professional lifeguards. These people do this for a living. They do it year round, and they have all the tools and the tricks of the trade to go out and make sure they can do it for a living. I watched them. They had this boat. They had to figure out how to go out through the surf and get to people, and then get them back on shore without getting flipped over. And that sounds easy unless you've ever navigated a small boat in choppy water. It can get kind of dicey. And so it was kind of interesting to watch these guys just kind of go to work. And they do this every day. Every day. But, they practice it. And there's no big heavy hitters in that group. Everybody there is super fit and super athletic. It just was impressive to me. Now, this is a clip of these two guys got pulled out by the rip current and started screaming. And I pulled out the phone. The guys on the surfboards are lifeguards. They're the county lifeguards. And they just started taking off. And I didn't even hear the guys screaming, but they did. They were getting ready to check out for the day. This is about 6:30 at night. And they took all their clothes back off, grabbed the boards off the truck, and went right back to work. No time off. Went out and got these two guys. The water out there wasn't super deep, but they were going further out. They're about neck deep in water. They can stand up if they wanted to. but they were getting sucked out and they panicked. And his lifeguards didn't miss a beat, man. And it's rough. I mean, you know, look at this. It's rolling them and tossing them over. But they got them into water where they can stand up and walk out. And I just thought, man, I didn't even notice it. Like, they're so attuned to what's going on. I'm standing there watching, and I didn't even hear this guy screaming, and all of a sudden the lifeguards took off. And those waves, they don't care if you're a lifeguard, if you're from the beach, if you're from the middle of the country, if you can swim, if you can't swim, they don't care. And they beat them ragged. And his lifeguard's like, no big deal, you know, just another day. And he jogs back to the truck, puts his surfboard back in the rack, and gets ready to go. I don't know, it was impressive. Now, the people that are there all the time, probably that's like old hat. I see this every day. Now, I noticed, I watched it a couple times. This is just the one I happened to film. But they didn't get a break. Like, dude went and rescued those two kids, turned around, a woman was having a heart attack, sitting on the side there, on the steps. She starts dying. They call the paramedics, which they ride bicycles down there. Their paramedics ride on bicycles. If you notice those two mountain bikes right there, say ambulance on them. It's crazy. Now, this was another day I went and took a trip up to Burley Head, which is like a real picturesque surfers area. Again, heading down towards Currumbin, where that wildlife park was at. But this is where all the surfers go, because they call them the rock breaks. It just perfect curls, perfect waves every day. So I went down there for sunset, and it was a while. It was about a 45-minute ride on the bus to get down there, but it was definitely worth it. And the people down there, like I said, everybody down there is so fit. I mean, even the old guys are fit. The kids and the girls, everybody, and they just live in the water. They're in that water. They're surfing. If they're not surfing, they're headed to go surfing. And I just thought, man, this is like a cool lifestyle or culture that I am totally not used to. But if it's 80 degrees every day and you live near the ocean and you grew up there, that's what you do. That's how it rolls. But this was the last day of my trip, and I was just kind of hanging out in this area, and this river runs behind my hotel. So I just kind of took a walk down through there. But anyways, I'll leave you with that. This is kind of the end of the trip. I just started filming. I found that like I said, the water's so crystal clear. That's a river, and you're going to see how clear it is. I saw fish. I don't know. I thought this is one of the coolest places ever. If you ever get a chance to go to Australia, go there. It's teeming with life, teeming with wildlife, and if you're into nature and you're into warm weather, that's the place to go. The downside, it's 17 hours to get there, but definitely worth it. So I'll just leave you with the sounds of the birds in the trees and the fish and whatnot. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. Maybe I'll get to do more of this stuff. Thanks again, everybody.